All right. If you guys are watching the playback, just bear with us for just a minute. I am streaming on our Facebook page. Okay. All right, here we go. Preparing. All right. I think we are live. Let me see. We are. Lisa, we
Awesome.
are live on my Facebook page. So again, welcome. I am so thankful for you, and I'm thankful for your willingness just to share your experience with our metabolic mapping program. And for those of you that don't know, I'm Greta, which you're watching this probably on my Facebook page, so you should know that. But this is Lisa Raynor, and she has been a client of ours since April, the end of April, I think.
Yes, around
Yeah.
the end of March, but somewhere around there, March, April.
And she is just blowing it out of the water with metabolic mapping and has just learned so much and has just done so well. And I wanted her to share her experience. So metabolic mapping is our health program, our total health program. So when we work with a client through metabolic mapping, we work with her on total health. Most of the time, their goal is to lose body fat. Not always, but most of the time. So that's our goal. But another goal that we have is just really to help our clients just feel amazing. So what I'm going to do is it's kind of an interview with Lisa, and I'm going to ask her a few questions. We're just going to have a conversation, but we're hoping that you guys will hang out, say hi, ask us questions if you have questions. But Lisa, I want to start out with what inspired you? I know, well, I'll back up a little bit. Lisa and I were both in a company called Premier Designs together years ago and crossed paths, I think, at a beach retreat. So that's where I got to know her briefly for a little while, and we just stayed connected through social media. But what inspired you to start your weight loss program and give the metabolic mapping program a try?
So I had been following you for a while and kind of looking at your posts and I guess they call it Facebook stalking.
Dog
um,
away.
and so I had been looking and kind of contemplating back and forth, but I had a foot surgery in December of 2022 and it put me kind of down and out for a long time as far as being able to do much of anything. I would work, but it was my foot was swollen and all the things. And so I got to the heaviest weight I had ever been in my entire life. And I just didn't feel good anymore. It was hard for me to go up lots of stairs without getting out of breath. We enjoy hiking and kayaking, and I just didn't feel like I could do that as good as I once could.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of uh, pushed me over the edge. And honestly, I took some pictures with a friend around the middle of March, and I was just very disappointed and disgusted with myself. And I was like, okay, I got to do something. And so that's when I reached out to you.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad that you did.
Me
Um,
too.
yeah, so what has been your past experience with dieting and what made this approach feel so different to you?
Oh boy. So I have done Weight Watchers a few times. I could elaborate why I stopped, but I won't. I did Beachbody one time for probably 6 months to a year.
Okay.
Um, and then I had done the restrict, restrict, just restrict
Mhm.
type of mindset, not really on a specific diet plan, so to speak. Um, I had tried anything from back in the day, Billy Blank's
Yeah.
kickboxing
Tabo.
to, yeah, Tabo. Back probably when my daughter was 2 or 3, I wasn't necessarily doing a weight loss like plan, but I was a member at a Curves gym, which I really enjoyed that, but they closed. So pretty much Weight Watchers and the Beachbody, and then just kind of I would restrict for a while, and then I
Mhm.
would just go and forget everything that I ever knew in my mind was the right thing to do, and go totally off the rails. I was either one extreme or the other.
Right, that restrict binge cycle.
Yeah, but I would
Yeah.
do it for like months.
Okay. Gotcha. So, and I think I know the answer to this, but I want you to share everybody else.
Okay.
So, when you first heard that you could eat more and lose weight, how did you feel? Were you skeptical at
Who's
first?
ignoring my cat? Sorry, snooch cat.
Hi, Kitty.
Yes, I thought, well, I told you, I was like, that doesn't seem right. I mean, I knew, and I was like, that cannot be right. Like, she cannot tell me that I can eat more than I eat now and lose weight, but okay, because I knew
Mhm.
you and I trusted you, and I really felt like Greta must know what she's talking about. I'm gonna trust her. So it does take a little bit of this having that blind faith to say, hey, okay, she knows more than I do about this. She's got the training and the experience, and I did not believe you at first, but I do
I
believe
know
you
you
now. And I can
didn't.
tell people it is true. It really is true. It's like I tell my family, I'm like, you can eat a lot if you eat the right things.
Hmm.
You can eat a lot of healthy food, and sometimes I'm like, I still need to eat some more. My husband's like, you got to eat more. I'm like, yeah, I got to eat some more. But no, I did not believe it at first, but it is true,
Right.
people. She is not telling you a fib. It really does work.
So, what do you feel? Because I've gotten to watch it and it's been awesome to watch. And of course, your weight loss has been awesome to watch. But another thing has been so wonderful to watch is your mindset shift on food and maybe letting go of perfectionism and things like that. So I just want you to share a little bit about that because, like I said, I've gotten to see it firsthand. It's been wonderful to see, but just talk a little bit about that.
So I am very type A, and anyone who is type A knows that you feel like things have to be perfect. Um, and I'm still working on that in other areas, but I have learned that it's okay not to be perfect when it comes to my nutrition or my step goals or even my, water goals or workout goals. Um, because if you're not, for me, before when I would mess up, it would kind of be like, well, I messed up today, so I'll just be messed up for 2 months or
Hmm.
3 months or whatever. Um, but with doing metabolic mapping and working with you, I've kind of realized that one day doesn't make or break your journey.
Hmm.
2 weeks doesn't make or break your journey, really. Me personally, I have to just say, okay, today was not that great, but tomorrow's a new day and I can do better.
Hmm.
Um, back after Christmas, I had gained like I think 3 pounds, and I was like, I don't have any guilt about that. Like I enjoyed being with my family. I enjoyed all the things I wanted, maybe a little too much, but I didn't have any guilt about that, and it
Hmm.
didn't make me go on a 3 month hiatus of saying, hey, I'm just not going to do any tracking. I'm not going to do anything for 3 months because I messed up for 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And for me, that's been a big change. Being able to just say, perfection it's not realistic.
Right.
I still have things that I want if I really, really want it. I just don't have them all. Those things that are not as good for you, I don't have them all as often. Um, One thing that my family has laughed at me is my favorite thing in the world was ice cream before I started my metabolic mapping. It is still one of my favorite things, but I mean, I ate it every single night. Um, And whenever I started this, I was like, okay, no more. I'm just not going to do it. And for me, some things are easy like that. For me, some things I can cut out cold turkey. Um, but the bluebell ice cream is my weakness. And I had not bought any since March or April, whenever we started. And at the beginning, by the end of November, 1st of December, I love the Christmas peppermint bark, and I bought some of it.
Mhm.
And just naturally, I feel like from all the things I've learned and just my goals and things, not fixing as much ice cream as I used to. Just I just did it without really thinking about it
Mhm.
until I sat down and I was like, oh, and I was fine with that. And you'll be happy to know that it is January, whatever it is, 13th. And that ice cream is still in my refrigerator. It's now over
Wow.
a month. I haven't
Yeah.
eaten it all. So, just having that mindset of you can have things you like and that you love, it's just moderation and
Mhm.
for me, I just had to make it a priority. Like if I want to reach these goals, then there's things I have to do. But
Mhm.
I can also have treats or you know
Right.
things like that. It's easier for tracking if you eat at home, but I still go out and take my daughter out and go with my family and things like that. We don't eat out as much as we used to. um, but that's just, my goals are such that I like to eat at home even more because it's just easier for me to track it. It's
Mhm.
healthier. But we still do those things that we like to do. We just don't do them as often when it comes to
Right.
food. So
Awesome.
it's
Yeah.
been a big change mentally. I was one of those. I never worked out for hours. I never like been a gym person because I was always so afraid of what everybody else thought of me. But in my mind, I always thought if I'm not working so hard that I can hardly breathe, then I've not done anything. Um,
Right.
and I've been on 3 workouts because I told you up front, I was like, exercise is not my thing.
Yeah.
I am not
I
that
wasn't
girl.
sure about that if you
I
were
am
going to do
not.
it.
I'm not that girl. But with the exception of maybe a few weeks here and there, I've done my 3 workouts, and I feel the best I ever have. So if anybody thinks, oh God, I'm going to have to work out 5 or 6 times a week to see results, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not what I have done. I have done my 3 workouts a week. And
Mhm.
even when I just had that surgery, I had to kind of go to some level phase 1 exercises just to, make sure I was being safe. But
Mhm.
for me, I was like, if I'm able to, I want to
Yeah.
keep moving. And so, no, I couldn't do the phase 2 that first week after my surgery, but I was able to do the phase 1s. And so,
Mhm.
that was a big deal for me. So there's been a lot of mindset change
That's
over
wonderful.
the past, I would say maybe 8 months or so now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I know, well, a couple things I want to ask you that's kind of off the questions we talked about, but I don't think you'll have any trouble talking about it. So,
Mhm.
going back to the workout thing, and you said you thought that to be effective, like you had to beat yourself up in the gym and sweat, and you could, until you couldn't hardly breathe. Have you ever felt like that with our workouts that you are working out that way?
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
in the beginning when I first started doing phase 2, um, of course they're challenging, but
Hmm.
there's so many ways to modify with the program that, and even now there's some things because I have some shoulder issues, so there's some things I just modify, but
Hmm.
I think it's that being consistent, and you might not be able to do it. I might not be able to do every exercise the exact way of the phase 2, but if I modify, I'm still moving. I'm still
Hmm.
doing.
Absolutely.
And there's never been a time where I'm like, oh, I'll never do this again. It's too hard. I've never had that experience. Um, but it's just, increasing what I've done as my ability has, improved. Um, so that's been a big thing.
Another thing I want to back up just a tad about mindset shift, something that was really cool for me to watch. And it was with some other clients as well as we went through this holiday season, but especially with you because you had voiced to me several times before the holidays that you were kind of apprehensive about, keeping your progress through the holidays. And I was like, it's going to be okay because I knew it would be okay. And I knew that you were going to implement the things that you learned. So it was cool to watch you like stay close to your goals, but still enjoy, like you said, you enjoyed your
Yeah.
family, enjoyed your favorite holiday foods. And even though at the end of Christmas you were up 3 pounds, which was probably water, by the way, because I'm sure you were eating more sugar and carbohydrates than you
Oh
were
yeah.
on to that. And carbs aren't bad. I'm not saying that.
Mm.
um, that has come that you've already lost that weight and more
Yeah.
since coming back. So it was cool to watch you and a few other clients I had that were so apprehensive, but when they implemented the skills they learned through the program, they were able to still enjoy it and not go crazy. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. So you did talk about, you've already answered this, I think, with your exercise, but how did your daily habits or routines change since starting the program? Like your day to day.
So, like, one thing, like, I in the past I had done this some, but I do it every day now. Like, as soon when I get up and I'm getting ready, I always drink a bottle of water first thing. Like, that just starts my day off, helping me get my water, getting my water goals in. So that's become like a definite routine every day. I got a watch that had where I could track my steps, and so I'm kind of monitoring that every day. If I don't have my steps in by the time I get home, which most of the time I don't because I have a job that sometimes requires sitting. If it's nice, I try to walk, but I have a stationary bike right there. And I ride that bike almost every day.
Mhm.
And it's just like my family knows, like most of the time I won't even eat supper until I get my steps in. It's just a personal thing. I feel like if I eat and I sit down because I've been busy, busy, busy all day, I'm going to be so tired I won't do it. And so for me, that's become a routine. Like I just want to make sure I get them in before my surgery, really. And I'm working back towards that. Since my surgery, I haven't got all my steps every day, but I just rode before I got on here. I could get my steps in. Just being more mindful of, like, I try, me personally, because I'm so busy in the mornings, I don't always have time to make breakfast, so to speak. And I know having protein shake every day for breakfast is not the ideal, but it helps me get 30 grams of protein in right off the bat. So, like, I always
Mhm.
make protein coffee. That's what I do. Um, I have like the espresso powder, or I'll have cold brew, and I just make a protein coffee every day. And that just starts off my day knowing that I have 30 grams of protein. Now, if there is a day where I can eat breakfast, I'll eat breakfast with that.
Uh-huh.
I eat a yogurt, or like if my husband, if we're at home and he makes eggs or whatever, I'll eat that with it. Um,
Mhm.
the week when I'm working, like, that is just something I know I'm going to do every day. I'm going to have that protein coffee in the morning just because it starts my day knowing I have those 30 grams. And I'm usually so busy during the day. I have a lunchtime, but I don't necessarily have a lot of time to snack. And so if
Mhm.
that 30 grams in first thing in the morning, it's harder um, for me to get them in throughout the day. So just making sure that I have the protein in the morning and start my day with my water. Like, I have this cup and or another cup, but this is the one I'm currently
An
using.
awesome cup, by the way.
So, and I started this from day one. Like, the very first time we started working together, not this particular cup, but I had another cup, but I had a hydro jug, and I had it from previous times where I was like, I'm going to drink all my water, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I wouldn't keep doing it, but I had it. And so, because of the way my work is, I am here, there, and everywhere. And I don't necessarily have access to a water fountain all the time. But because I wanted to make sure I met my water goal, I figured up, okay, well, if I have my bottle in the morning and then I drink one of these, like, because the ice will melt over time, and then I drink my entire jug, that's my water for the day.
Yep.
And so, like, that hydro jug has a strap, and so it literally gets strapped onto my rolly cart that I work with, and I it school I'm at. A lot of times, if it's on the weekends, like, it goes in my car and I fill up my cup. I have gone as to great lengths as to take my cup into restaurants before, even though I can get
You're like a camel.
yeah, yeah, basically. Um,
Just travel with your water.
One it's okay. I brought my cup in here. She's like, oh, it's fine. Some people do that. I was like, okay. So sometimes I know I can get water in a restaurant, but sometimes I just like, I'm
You
not,
want your cup.
well, that, and I'm a person who by nature does not love water. I love it more now, but I add a little flavor into my water, and it's very low calorie. The artificial sugar doesn't seem to bother me in those. It's not very much, but my first water of the day is plain, nothing in it. But to get the other part on, honey's got to have a little help. So, so they're all sugar free and there's no calories. But that has been like a pretty, I would say, almost a religious thing for me. Like I have to have a cup with me. My family knows I take it to church, so just
Mhm.
always having water with me, always having
Mhm.
access to it, because otherwise, if I waited until I was in my car to ride home to drink water, or it just wouldn't happen. Um,
Right.
I go to tons of classrooms during the day. That cup is just like my badge. It goes with me
Mhm.
everywhere I go. The cup goes. So making that's become like a routine of mine. The water is with me everywhere. Um, but I just kind of my whole, and I don't want to say mindset, but it is like when I'm making my lunch for the next day, I'm always thinking about, okay, what am I going to have that's protein? Do I need my mission carb, low carb tortillas so I can get all that fiber because they're great for
Mhm.
that. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm always just kind of thinking about that when I'm making my lunch. Just everything it's just different. Like I don't just like go make a PBJ every day. Um,
Right.
Now I am not one. I don't meal prep a lot. I cook almost every night for my family, unless it's something crazy's going on. But I always try to think about like what kind of what can I get, what can I fix that's going to give me the most protein, and
Mhm.
sometimes I need more calories and sometimes not, but um, I always think about the protein first. Like what can I,
Mhm.
and I'm a Pinterest like recipe person, so I'll try all kinds of recipes, and then I just put them in the My Net diary and figure out the calories and things from there. So my family, as a residual effect, they have started eating healthier just because I cook
I love I love that.
different. My husband, he has lost probably almost as much weight as I have.
You have not shared that with me.
Dog. I love him, but dog. I say, I'm doing all the work. You're getting all the benefit. He's like, oh, it's because I'm a man. I mean, and I know that there are different, things with men and women's bodies, but he, just because I don't cook the same way that I did before.
Right. And
Um,
you guys aren't going out all the time. So it really shows, Lisa, and that's one of the main reasons I love what I do is because if we can help make an impact with one mom or one grandma or one I have clients, not many, but clients in their early 20s. Like if they know this stuff now, it's not just changing you, it's a generational change.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And my daughter, and my husband, they tickle me because they're like, "Is this healthy? Did you make this healthy?" Uh,
Are you sneaking something in on me?
uh, they know I'm forever putting like sneaking in cottage cheese somewhere. One thing, another like kind of a big thing is like we don't eat as much red meat as we used to because it's higher in calories and fat. And I'm like, well, if I have ground turkey or the lean ground beef, then I can have more, and it's better for us and it's heart healthy. And so that's the whole joke. There, my daughter even said one night she had a friend come over and she was like, "Mom, I know we're having tacos. Can you please make sure you use real hamburger, not turkey burger tonight?" I was like, I do that. So it was the 97, but it was so funny because they just know. They're like,
Uh-huh.
is this the healthy version or is this the real? I'm like, well, the healthy version is the real version.
Yeah,
Sometimes
if it tastes good, who cares?
sometimes you don't even know the difference.
Right. Well, Lisa, so what has been with you making these lifestyle habit changes? Because that's what they are. They just become part of your lifestyle, just things that you kind of just do.
Yeah.
What has been like an unexpected benefit that you've got? Of course, I know you set out to lose weight, but what
Yeah.
has been like an unexpected benefit that you've gotten? from this? Maybe something that was surprise to you.
The fact that I can hike for hours,
Mm,
I can walk for 2 or 3 hours, and not get winded. Whereas before, I couldn't walk for 30 minutes and not be a little out of breath.
mhm.
We went camping back in the fall and we hiked for several hours. And my husband was like, "Yeah, remember last year we went hiking at, I think it was Raven Rock." He's like, "You were struggling." He's like, "And
You're struggling.
"And you were killing it today." He's like, "You didn't even."
Oh.
So, just being able to do that.
Mhm,
That's why I said the other day, like, I feel like I'm, even though I'm not necessarily at my lowest weight, I feel like I'm at the healthiest cardiovascular and otherwise that I have probably ever been. Just because, like, the endurance and, when I'm riding that bike over there, at first I was like, how is this really helping me? But I know now because I have just doing that mindlessly. I'm like, I'm on my phone or doing whatever. But that,
mhm.
I think, is now carrying over to when we do go out hiking or walking. Like, I can just go and go and go. Um,
Love that.
Went up some hills. Yes, I naturally everybody gets a little winded, but like in the past, it would take me a really long time to recover, and now,
Mhm,
and like, I mean, stop and recover, and
mhm.
we were able to just keep going. So that's been a very unexpected yet wonderful benefit. And then, like I was telling you, I've had several surgeries, and I don't know. It could be a combination of the fact that this was a different surgery, but the other surgeries I've had in the past, let's say 4 years, I was not able to do nearly anything compared to what I was able to do just the day after I had this surgery. Um, I had the energy and I wanted to go outside and walk, and I was able to do that the very next day.
Wow.
Um, I was able to ride my bike for the first time 4 days after. Yeah, 4 days after. Um, and so being able to do that, and whereas in previous surgeries, I'm like, couldn't hardly do anything for days, I just feel like it's a direct correlation. I don't know that for a fact, but I just feel like overall better health helped
Mhm.
me in this recovery process. So
Absolutely.
definitely a bonus or an unexpected benefit. Shut that door, Ella Grace.
I
Cat,
love her name.
your cat. Sorry.
That's okay. So, how has losing over 40 pounds impacted your energy levels and your confidence?
Oh boy. I find it hard to sit for long periods of time.
Love that.
Uh, and so having the surgery, that was very hard, and that's why I was like, let's go walking. So that has been a big impact. Like, I want to be up, I want to be moving, because in my mind, I have more energy, and I feel like doing that more. But in my mind, I'm like, the longer I sit, the harder it's going to be to meet my goals. um, and then, of course, losing weight has been a great benefit, but and I feel like of course, you feel better when you look better. Um, but I feel better, like, internally, and I
Hmm.
that's been the best benefit. Um, I just
Love that.
Otherwise, I just feel better um, than I ever have. So that's been a huge blessing.
I love that, Lisa. So, what advice, like if you're talking to someone right now that's watching this and she's thinking about giving metabolic mapping a try, but she just feels stuck. She doesn't know what to do, if she should invest in it or if it's for her. What advice would you give to her?
Mm. I would say it's worth the investment. Like, if you're considering doing it, don't be afraid to try it, because the longer you wait, the more you're missing out. Like, I wish now that I would have started months and months before I did. Um, but there's never a wrong time to start.
Right.
You never know what you can do. Um, and it's just about, going into it. It's not saying I can't do these things or I can't change these things. you can if you want to. It's just you got to want to.
Right.
When you want to make that change, don't be scared to do it because it is worth the investment. And I would recommend it a million times. I'll be your poster child. You can put me on a poster.
I will. Well, and you mentioned change, but I think when a lot of women, well, I know from personal experience, like they might be looking at you right now and think you changed everything at once drastically.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're talking about change, but that's not true, is it?
No, 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 no. Now there are some things for me personally that I had to change drastically, instantly, but there are many things that did not. I mean, like when you start this program, you're not starting off. That's what I had to explain to my mom. My mom's one of your clients. Um,
Yeah.
you don't just start out, Mama, doing all the steps that I'm doing, or you don't start out eating all the protein I'm eating. Like it's a progression. Like it's not like, oh my gosh, tomorrow I've got to start doing all these things at one time. It is definitely a progression, and because it's different for everybody, um, I had to explain that to mom because I explained it. But mom was like, well, I think I need to do the same thing you're doing. I'm like, no, honey, it's your body, your fitness level, your goals. We're totally different people. So it's not a total change. Like for me, I jumped off the bandwagon starting with the water. I just knew that if I didn't, I wouldn't. Just for me, that's
Mhm.
personally, because I was a sweet tea girl, hardcore.
You're Southerner.
So for me, something that I just started doing pretty much off the bat once we,
Mhm.
because I have done some time periods where I would do the water on my own before we started working together. So that was just something that I just chose to 100% jump in. But everything else was a progression. Um,
Mhm.
and like I said earlier, it's even when you're in phase two, like I have been for a long time now, it's still not, oh, all or nothing. You got to cut out every single sweet or whatever kind of person you are. If you're
And your will to live.
yeah, girl, never have French fries again. Well, that's not true. I still have fries sometimes. I don't have them often, but
Mhm.
if I want them, I have them. Because if I
Mhm.
don't, then I will have them for 2 months. And so it's definitely not an all or nothing thing. And that was the surprising thing for me was like, okay, I can eat all these foods. I need to eat more than what I was actually eating. That surprised me. Um,
Mhm.
but it's just making, healthier choices most of the time. I don't feel like I have ever been, you know, not able to enjoy some of the things I like. I've never felt that way in this program. Like, oh, you ate French fries today, you're in trouble. I've never felt that way. Um,
Right.
Anybody who's contemplating it, you can still live your life and be successful in this program. It's just, it depends on like what your goals are, like what each person's goals are. Will determine how much you jump in head first. Like me, I was like, I'm doing all or nothing for things. But
Yeah.
personal, that was just a personal choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this program is like you mentioned with your mom, because Lisa's mom is a client. My daughter Sophie coaches her and loves Charlotte. Um, but like you mentioned your mom and how you guys have very different programs, because what we do as coaches is we take the person, we take Lisa, we take Charlotte, and we look at you holistically and what you need to work on slowly and build up to reach the goal that you have that's based on where you are currently, where you want to go. And so it is a very, very personal approach.
And I had no idea before starting this program how, like, I am not a late night person, and I am like I know I need my 8 hours of sleep, but I had no idea the effect that the sleep and stress can have on not just your weight, but your overall health. But
Hmm.
for me, I can tell after some months of being in this program, like if I don't have good sleep for a few days, for whatever reason, my it shows in my weight. Um,
Hmm.
if I don't, if I'm super stressed, it shows up in various ways. But I notice it, me personally, like I can tell, like in
Yeah. the correlation.
Yeah, I had no idea about that
Yeah.
when I started this program. So I've learned a lot. And they say it takes 21 days to develop a habit. And so I have definitely been with you guys for more than 21 days. So a lot of the things now that I do, I can't imagine not doing them. Just
Hmm.
how much better I feel overall. Um, my ability to, my stamina with hiking and things like that, and just overall feeling better. So, like, when you feel better, you want to keep doing the things that help you feel better.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
I would encourage anybody, just give it give it time, because it definitely does work. And I was seeing results unexpectedly, I guess, in the first few weeks when I
Yeah.
started the program. So I wouldn't don't be afraid to try, because I'm telling you, it works. 100.
Well, one last question I have for you. So reflecting back on these last few months, you're in the midst of this journey, but we have to celebrate ourselves at every point of the journey. And you have a lot to celebrate, but looking back and reflecting back, what is the one thing you're most proud of?
I would say that I've actually stuck with it this long,
Yeah.
and that I've been able to consistently, pretty consistently. I mean, I'm not perfect, nobody is, but pretty consistently met these goals, give or take. Um, I feel like just sticking with the program and not giving up on when I had those weeks where maybe my weight didn't go down, or I gained a pound or half a pound or whatever.
Mhm.
Or like when I had the surgery and I wasn't able, or sickness, I'm just proud of the fact that I didn't quit, and just say, well, I've missed a week, or I messed up this week, or I didn't meet these goals this week. Because, in the past I may would have just said, well, hey, can wait another 6 months, or, you know,
Right. Why do you think you didn't quit?
I mean, one, I'm going to be honest, it's an investment. And so when I'm investing my money, I want to be more, I'm just naturally going to be more accountable to that.
Hmm.
But also because I knew the progress I had made,
Hmm.
and I didn't want to just give up on that. When I can see in myself, and then I can feel it, and other people can tell, just in my overall ability to do things, that like the walking and stuff like that. Like, I can see the progress. I feel the progress, and I didn't want to go back on that, because I still have that 50-pound goal I'm wanting to get to. And then, I don't even know if I've told you this, but I told my husband, I was like, now when I get that 50-pound goal, I think I'm going to go for like 10-pound goals
Yeah.
in 10-pound increments. Because this, when I started with you, like, I jumped, I was like, I'm a 50-pounder. I want to do that. And
Team elder.
jumped off with that. And so I'm so close to that 50-pound
Yes, you are.
close. So I told him, I was like, once I get that 50-pound goal, I really think I don't want to be done. I don't want to be done with this phase. I want to maybe just go and meet those 10-pound goals, or 20 pounds.
I
I,
love it.
I kind of want to do like 30 more after this 50. So that's kind of brain. And
Right.
and then once I get there, then I'll be like, okay, this is maintenance for me after that. But it just kind of, in my brain, I never thought I could lose 50 pounds. Like, and still eat. I never thought I could do that.
Right. And feel good doing it.
Feel good doing it, and I never thought that that would happen. And I've never lost 50 pounds, or close to 50 pounds, um, in one program, by sticking with one program. And so I'm too close to give up now, but more
Yes.
to come. FYI, when I reach that 50, we're not finished.
We're still going. I'm here for it and I'm here for you. And I just love you, Lisa. And I appreciate you doing this. So you guys heard her. I hope you watched because those were some great words that she shared with us. So if you all want to know more about metabolic mapping, just you can drop something in the comments. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can send me a message. You can post in our free Fat Loss and Faith for Busy Christian Women group. But we appreciate, if you watch to the end, we appreciate your time. And Lisa, again, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. I love you.
All right. Love you too. And everybody else have a great night. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.